Welcome back to the Damn Yankee Blacksmith Shop. Today is a beginner information video. We'll move some things out of the way so we can get to where the subject we're going to talk about. A hammer. This is the hammer most people associate with hammering. This is a claw hammer. It's a very common tool used by carpenters. That's a cheap one. There's a slightly better one. Why do I own one? Hey, every once in a while I like to beat up on wood the same as I like to beat up on steel. Only problem is you can't rework wood. You cut it once and you're done. You either do it right or you got to start over again with new wood. It always irritated me about wood. So I work with steel, where if I screw it up, I can weld it back together again and start over. Now, blacksmithing deals with hammers, but we don't use claw hammers. They're just too lightweight. So we start with our lightweight. Yes, this little itty bitty hammer is useful. Now, talking about the parts of a hammer, we have the handle, we have the eye, the face, and the peen. Now, this, I believe this is a French style hammer because it comes back in a V shape. Now, I might be wrong. I don't own very many other styles other than Swedish, but this is a cross peen hammer because it goes across the handle. If it was a straight peen hammer, it would look like that, or like that. Now, I have a cross peen hammer in 500 grams, 800 grams, or excuse me, that is 200 grams, 500 gram, that one is 800, and that one's 1,000. Those are all, these are cross peen hammers. These two are Swedish cross peen hammers. Now, Swedish style has a thick base where the eye comes through and then it narrows out and it's centered. Now, Czechoslovakian and some French start off at the top and the peen comes right off the top. Different countries, different styles. There's still a cross peen hammer. You got to get used to the differences. Then you have sledgehammers. Sledges have two faces. Now, sometimes they have a rounding face and a flattening face. I don't have a rounding hammer here at the moment. Got to build one, actually. And I have 2 pounds, 2.5, 3. My 6 pound is in the truck. That's another 6 pound, 8 pounds, and 12 pounds. Now, I have a friend who has a 32 pound hammer. He's not a good enough friend for me to actually swing that thing for him. He has to swing it on his own. Now, we call it an anvil on a stick. The other kinds of hammers, this is a body shop kind of hammer. It's called a ball peen hammer. It's used in body shops because it can shape steel really well with the ball peen. It also has a good working face, which is rounded. Most blacksmith hammers are square because you can get a better flat surface with a square face, excuse me. There are planishing hammers. This hammer is made to either create a very sheet metal to get a nice flat surface or to get a dimpled surface. So it's more for surface work. That one goes over here. Now, these are set tools. Now, if you watch my videos, we already talked about set tools. This hammer is an old set tool. It's about to become a hammer. At the next meeting, we're going to take this and we're going to turn it into a rounding hammer. I'm going to take this head and I'm going to rebuild it, grind it down and rebuild it, and it's going to become a rounding hammer. Now, that covers the different kinds of hammers I have. I only have a fraction of the hammers that a lot of guys have. I find hammers I like and I use them. Oh, by the way, none of those are my favorite hammer. My new favorite hammer is a 3-pound cross peen, and I'm going to call this, it wasn't made in a Swedish style. It's formed after the Swedish style, but it's not a Swedish style, and it's not a French style. It's not a Russian style. I'm going to call this an East Texas style. It was made here. It's a Chip Barkman hammer. Chip's the guy with that 32-pound hammer we were talking about, and he helped me build this thing. And it is my favorite hammer. What was it originally? See that backhoe tooth? That one right there. It was just like that till we reshaped it and rebuilt it. It also made a nice Bowie knife out of what was left. Now, those are hammers. The other hammer is right here. This is called a power hammer. This is when you're too old to work with that on a regular basis, or you're by yourself and it's hard to hold something and hit it with a sledgehammer. So I have this device. Now, a power hammer has a motor which turns a fan belt, which turns a piston, a compressor piston in here, which in turn pushes the piston in here. I can either use the pedal, I push down on the pedal, and I can adjust the height of the hammer. There's the anvil, that's the hammer. On this particular one, I have a hand grip, so I can do the same thing. Not much of a difference there. You can see the gauge. I'm not moving this hardly at all, and I'm going all the way down. Now, if you can imagine, if I go down to here, I'm breaking these tips. This allows me to flatten large pieces of steel quickly or draw steel out. It allows me to do a lot of work very fast, comparatively speaking to using hand hammers. That covers hammers. I've talked for almost 10 minutes on nothing but hammers. I hope you got a feel for it. If you want to know more, I recommend going to any of the numerous blacksmiths shops or stores online to look at their different kinds of hammers. You can get a feel for what's out there. Good luck. I hope you'll come back for the next video, and we'll talk to you later.